All right, what's up guys? My name is Patrick, and today we're doing a really cool video on a car that I am probably potentially going to buy. This is my buddy Jeff.
Hey guys.
Jeff's a really good friend. He actually had a Miata. He sold it a long time ago. Focus ST as well, that was also on the channel, so you've kind of been around on the channel a good amount. Sure.
Yeah, a few times, but never like a full feature.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just got this new car.
Yep.
Can you tell us kind of like why you got it?
Sure, so it's the 2022 Toyota GR86 in my all-time favorite color, Neptune. So there's a few reasons why I wanted this car. One, it's just a perfectly set up platform. Best bang for your buck, I think, for the price range. It's rear-wheel drive, manual, and it's not super fast, but it's fast enough where you have fun, you can throw it around the corners, and just a really well-balanced car.
Yeah.
And the interior's super nice compared to what else is out on the market right now.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in like the first gen BRZs. My brother had one, and it's a great car for sure. I had a lot of issues with the engine itself and kind of like the tuning that was done from OEM. It felt like very unrefined. It was just like a very, I don't know, kind of crappy feeling engine. No offense to any first gen owners, but like this new engine, I mean, they're dynoing at like 210 wheel horsepower, which is just insane considering it's a pretty lightweight car. So I think once these things get bolt-ons, they're just they're gonna rip, honestly. Yeah. I really think so.
They're dynoing higher than full bolt-on Gen 1 cars.
Yeah, that's
which
nuts.
Is crazy for a stock car.
Yeah.
So it's fun. You could tell the difference from when I remember driving Will's car versus this. It just genuinely feels better and faster.
Right.
From the limited times I have driven it though. But yeah, rambling on, it's just a all-around good car.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It's fun. There's a huge aftermarket for it too. Like a lot of the Gen 1 parts fit Gen 2 already, and people are figuring that out. It's made to be tuned and played with if you like Stancy Boy stuff, or if you like track car stuff, or you like a fun street car. It can do it all easily.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like you get like a blank slate from the factory, and it's kind of like up to you if you want to go a certain route. We're just going to take a walk around the car. I think that this is just an awesome looking vehicle. You obviously agree. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
And with the tint too, it looks really, really good. You have 20% on the sides, right?
Yep, 20% on the side and then 50% on the windshield.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. One of the reasons why I kind of want a GR86 over a BRZ is the front end. In my opinion, I think that this looks a lot just more put together. And I don't know, it just kind of overall looks better to me. So because this is the premium trim, you get these nice 18-inch wheels. They really make the car look pretty solid. And Jeff, you have spacers on them, so they look a little bit more aggressive than stock, obviously.
Yep.
But still pretty solid. In terms of like wheel gap from the factory, there's some, there's a good amount, but it's not too bad. Probably my favorite part of the GR86 is this ducktail spoiler. This is awesome. This really truly makes like the rear end amazing for me. Yep. And I think it's something that the Subaru could really benefit from. I know that there's obviously going to be aftermarket options that are identical to this, but to have it from the factory perfectly paint matched is really, really nice. I just think it's like, this is perfect. The rear end of this car is just like perfect. So the reason why this new generation is partially so amazing is because they added the displacement trick to this engine. So they bored out the engine, added 0.4 liters of displacement. So it went from a 2.0 to a 2.4, and it makes a huge difference. But the funny thing is, I mean, it looks absolutely identical to an older BRZ. Same exact size engine from the outside, all the components, the exact same. I think, did they add an oil cooler to these?
There is a stock oil cooler now.
That's awesome.
And then the filter's right on top, oil cooler sandwiched in there.
That's such a nice place for a filter.
Yep. It's got the little lip right there so you never spill oil.
So nice.
Yep.
Mine's on like the side of the engine bay, and every single time it's just a mess.
Yeah, so when I do my first oil change, it's gonna be easy. I'm only at 1,056 miles-ish. So just past the break-in period. So it's still pretty much brand new.
Yeah, really clean engine bay. The nice things about these Boxers are that for anything other than spark plugs, they're actually really easy to work on, just based on the fact that, I mean, hell, if you need to change the alternator, it's right there. Airbox is nice and easy to...
you need to drop the trans, it's right there.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, it's just a very small packaged engine, and it looks pretty good. So Jeff, obviously you've lived with this car. You know this interior way better than I do. What's your opinion on it? Like, you've spent time in the older BRZs, so you know what that's like. How does it kind of compare, you know?
Yep, so again, this is the premium model. So a couple big upgrades versus the base. And one of the things I really loved were the seats. They're semi-bucket seats. They really hold you in well, but they're not extremely uncomfortable like some other bucket seats that I've had from factory cars. And they're also suede, which is a huge selling point for me, and they're heated. And I've used the heated seats honestly more times than I was expecting to for only having it in the springtime. Suede on the door, which is really nice. Simple interior setup, only like the necessary buttons, touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, and a really nice steering wheel. It's a small diameter, nice leather-esque wrap, and not a lot of buttons. I love that. Sometimes you get cars and it's just overwhelmed with buttons and it takes away from the whole aesthetic of the car. Toyota did a really good job with this interior, kept it simple, driver oriented, and it just makes you feel like you're in a race car without actually being in a race car.
Obviously, I'm coming from a pretty old Miata. It's about 20 years old, so anything is going to be pretty nice to me. I think that comparing this to the old gen, adding suede, it just makes an interior so much better, just overall. These seats, I'll talk about them more when I'm driving, but honestly, they feel great. They have a fair amount of bolstering, especially they're not super aggressive, which is really nice. Comparing it to the Elantra N, it's like actually a little bit less, which can actually be a good thing, especially for daily driving. Another car that I thought had way too much bolstering was the Focus ST and the Fiesta ST. Those seemed a little bit like overbearing. These are pretty nice. They still have actual physical controls, which is super, super nice. I'm not a huge fan of the digital screen climate control stuff. I think there's a point of diminishing return of that stuff. The steering wheel feels pretty similar to the older gen, but it's a little bit skinnier, and I don't know, the leather seems a little bit smoother. Other than that, it's very, very similar.
You get your standard like fuel economy, miles per gallon, and then your tire pressures are in there as well.
So that's probably my favorite part. Having like real-time tire pressures for track stuff is just freaking awesome.
It's really
so
handy.
Cool. Because they seem pretty accurate. So when we took Will's Elantra to track, it was within like 1 PSI, which was just, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's just like measurement error.
Yeah, it's awesome. Once you get off track, like the second you get off track, you instantly know what the hot temps are. So good. Because see, like, so right off the bat, it feels smoother.
Really?
Genuinely. Because first gear in this car, in the old gen, like, it just felt jerky. It was just not, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times low
well.
speed rear wheel drive cars can get clunky.
So you took the active sound pumped in audio out, right?
Yeah, so different companies call it different things, like electronic sound enhancement. But basically, there's a little module underneath the glove compartment, and I just disconnected it. It was overpowering, and it was just unnaturally loud.
Yeah.
If it was toned down a little bit, it probably would have been okay.
Yeah, definitely, like, looking at all of the videos, it sounded so bad to me.
Yeah.
And maybe it sounds different in person, I don't know, but on video, man, it sounded awful. It's honestly, like, pretty loud.
Yes.
Just like, it's not necessarily exhaust noise by any means, but the engine itself, you hear a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of engine noise, especially when you get above 4,000. There's no engine cover. Well, I mean, there's like a small engine cover, but with no sound deadening, and there's no dash insulator.
Yeah.
So it's just very transparent.
Shifter is pretty nice. It feels very similar to the old BRZ. I'd say a little bit less like clunky in between gears. It seems a little bit more refined. So that's great. Happy to see that. Yeah, pedal box, pretty nicely spaced. I remember the first gens had a lot of issues trying to heel and toe because they were spaced super far apart.
Yep.
Really, really strange spacing, but we'll see on this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to heel toe because the gas pedal's lower.
Yeah, a lot of people do like kind of like spacers.
The spacer plates.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're done with braking, right? I'm allowed to rev it out.
You can hit it.
It really jerks you back between gears. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that clunkiness that you just saw is caused by the clutch delay valve. So when you're trying to shift fast, you'll get this clunk, and it's very apparent in the video. It's even more apparent in real life. And it can be sort of fixed by doing a couple things. My brother's old BRZ, he did these, and it fixed the issue, which allowed him to kind of really slam it in between gears without getting that clunk. Adjusting the clutch pedal itself, the actual engagement point, can help, and then also removing the helper spring from the clutch pedal. So those are two things that maybe could make a difference. Otherwise, you kind of have to shift this car pretty slow, which kind of sucks. But anyway, back to the video. So comparing it to full bolt-on E85 BRZ, it doesn't feel as like punchy, but up top, I definitely noticed that it pulls all the way.
Yep.
The older cars typically kind of like fall apart a little bit up top. So definitely very nice to see. The suspension's also pretty nice. I mean, like, this is very rough and it's taking it pretty well. It doesn't, when you hit these bumps, it doesn't make like a high pitch kind of noise. It's like a very low rumble, which is very, very nice for sure.
Yeah, it's good suspension from the factory. It's nice and firm, firmer and stiffer than most cars, but it's exactly what I would want and expect out of a car like this.
Yeah, man, I love the steering on this.
Yep.
It's just like, it's a good wheel. I feel very connected. It's solid. I actually think that it's spaced a lot better than the other ones. Like, I'm able to touch both pedals with kind of like sort of sidestepping. Kind of. It's still kind of tough to get the gas enough.
It just feels so good.
Feels great.
Does
nice
it
brakes.
feel like to you like it just grips the road and wants to be thrown into corners?
Yeah, I'm definitely not sure what like the limit is. I'm not gonna do that with your car. We're not gonna do that today. But like you feel super confident driving this car. That's one thing that I've really noticed is like, it just, even the way that you sit, the seating position, it kind of inspires confidence. I know that's a very, I don't know, a cliche way of speaking, but really truly you see so much of the road, and it's just overall like a very nice place to sit, and yeah, shifter's easy, clutch is easy. It's a super just confidence inspiring car. It's awesome. It's definitely a very clunky car in between gears.
Yeah.
That's definitely really a little odd. I don't know what could fix that. A lot more like intake noise, like induction.
Yep.
I love it.
It's just so good.
It's a very, I mean, naturally aspirated cars are always like so nice to maybe not drive like all out, but when you're doing like 8/10ths, it's super nice because there's no turbo lag at all. You have perfect throttle response, and it just seems like a more like seamless acceleration.
It's predictable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you like take it slower, it's not as clunky.
Yeah.
But I like to just kind of throw that shit back in gear.
And we were kind of talking about it like off camera the other day about the rev matching. The car doesn't have it. It may be easier to shift if it did have that kind of feature built in.
Yeah. I definitely really enjoy auto rev matching cars because it just makes daily driving so much easier.
It does.
But, you know, honestly, like this clutch is pretty easy. This transmission's easy. I'm gonna go before these guys go. So I don't know, it's not a huge deal. Awesome. Well, this was a great experience. I've got some thinking to do for sure. I think that this is an amazing car. That's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Can I put your Instagram in there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Jeff is pretty active on Instagram, so definitely give him a follow. This car is awesome. You've got a lot planned for it.
Yep.
Probably gonna do coilovers next year, so.
Exhaust coming up soon.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun video.
Yeah, we should definitely film that. That'd be cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Sweet.
Project Neptune 86.
Awesome. All right, see you guys.